More than 90% of worries disappear if you leave them alone. The reason is that the ones you can manage are not worries, and the ones you can't manage are not even if you think about them.
I will teach you how to be happy, how to do this, and you will be happy. Yes, it's very simple. You don't change anything, you don't want anything, you're happy just the way you are. Then some people who don't know this might think that I'm talking about knowing enough. But it's not like that. It's not that shallow. This story is deep. It is 30 centimeters deep. It's a very deep story. It's deep enough that you won't get hurt. It's about that deep that you can't get hurt. I wish my fingers were a little thinner. Don't think at all that I wish my legs were 10 centimeters longer. You know, President Emiko, who just sang a song, has really long legs. I asked her, Emiko-san, what do you think would happen if my legs were 10 centimeters longer? I was told that would be normal. That was not the answer I wanted. I expected, like, you'd look like a model. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be normal. That's the answer, but it's not a right answer. The only place where you can get scores if you do everything right is at school. Yes, it's a complaint of what I wish would happen or what I wish would happen. And when you walk around complaining, you attract the same vibrations that the person is giving off. So the biggest reason why you're not happy or unhappy is because you are complaining about the present. Instead, you should be happy that you were born in this country, or happy that you were able to eat today, or happy that you are happy right now. I am happy that I woke up today. There are many people who did not wake up. Yes, people, when you say, I'm happy, without wishing for anything, a lot of good things come. It's just vibrations. Let me give you an example. A woman is lonely. Then when she says she is lonely, a lonely man comes out. The same thing comes out as what you put out. People say, it's good that two lonely people are happy together. And they say, good for you. But lonely plus lonely is double lonely when a woman says, I am unhappy. And I wonder if there is someone who can make me happy. The man on the other side, who is thinking that way, also wonders if there is a woman who can make me happy. And so they get married. They both have high expectations for the other. And then the dream is soon dashed, and the rest is a bloody battle. If you say that people are happy even if they get married, and that they are happy even if they don't get married, then people like that will come along. Happiness plus happiness is double happiness. Didn't you learn that in school? Yes, I'm talking about addition now. People say to me, Hitori-san, you are kind to everyone. It's true. For example, I treat a 20-year-old woman and an 80-year-old woman the same. It's not that I am talking I'm wonderful. Don't think of her as an 80-year-old person. There are 4 20-year-olds. We learn division in school, so please make the most of what you have learned. If you live your life thinking, whatever it is, I'm happy now, a lot of happy things will come to you. That's how I do it. You may ask, does it work? Yes, it works. Well, my company is a very mysterious company. Our company is called Ginza Marukan, but actually our real name is Ginza Nihon Kampo Laboratory. The only problem is nobody is doing any research. And I don't either. Isn't that strange? For example, a green juice that is good for your knees, your back, and your blood. I put it in my head. What kind of thing do I want? Then, after a while, I don't know if it will be 1 month, 3 months, or even tomorrow, but it will pop up, and I will write down the formula. We ask them to make it, and then we make it. That is why our company has no R&D expenses. I think the reason why our company became the best in Japan may be because we have no R&D expenses. Usually only one out of several new products is a winner. We have never had a single product fail to hit the market. They just pop up. And when they do, I forget about them. I remember it at the time, but later when people ask me how I got the formula, I tell them I don't know. I have to say I don't know. It's strange, isn't it? What I don't know is that it goes to the place in Japan where it is most likely to appear. A scholar or someone like that will come to me and tell me that he or she has invented something like this. They think they invented it, but they are wrong. It appeared to that person because I thought of it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought it to me. But it came to me. This is called the law of attraction. Human beings are capable of doing a lot of unbelievable things. You know, human beings, before they are born, they decide their own lives. So it seems that everyone is struggling a lot, but there is no problem that you cannot overcome. There is no trouble that you cannot overcome. So you may think that you're screwed, but you're not screwed. Let me tell you something good. More than 90% of your problems will disappear if you leave them alone. Yes, that's right. The reason is that it's not a problem that can be managed. If it's something you can't do anything about, there's nothing you can do about it. So even if you were told that you were troubled 5 years ago, you wouldn't remember what was bothering you at that time, would you? So the problems you had at that time have not been solved. There is no such thing as I solved it this way and this way. Time will solve them. In the meantime, you are either suffering or having fun. It's just a matter of time. So it may seem like a great problem, but it's really not that big of a problem. And when time comes, it disappears. When time comes, problems appear. And there is a general rule as to how long it takes for them to disappear. So just leave it alone. So next time you have a problem, write it down. And if you keep writing them down and look at them, they will disappear on their own. But you see that none of them have been solved, so keep looking. There is no solved in this way. The reason is that the ones that can be solved are not problems. Yes, basically, and time will solve them. Yes, I and everyone else have actually made their own life decisions when they were in the afterlife, so the God inside of me knows who I am. When I was in junior high school, my teacher said to me, Saito-kun, you have to be able to speak English because the world is going to become more internationalized from now on. And when I look at this English like this, I realize that I don't need this. I can see that I don't need this. Saito-kun, you have to be able to do at least equations. It's not good. Oh, I don't need this. I understand. I'm not saying that English is unnecessary, but in my life I don't need it. And it's not that the equation is unnecessary. It is necessary for some people. It's just that I know I don't need it. And my English teacher said, don't say that. So I learned it out of obligation, out of duty. The first line in the text was, I am boy. And I learned that first line, I am boy. But before I used it even once, I was no longer a boy. You know, human intuition is really amazing. If you feel you don't need English, you really don't need it. And you know, when you are introduced to someone for the first time and you think, oh, this guy is suspicious. He is really suspicious. Remember that. If you get the impression that this person has a bad personality, it's definitely bad. But the human brain, you know, thinks. If he says, well, actually, I went to such and such a good school, or my father is such and such a person, or my relative is the president of such and such a company, then you can't help but think that he is an amazing person. But a truly great person would never tell someone he or she meets for the first time where he or she went to school or what his or her parents are like. If you do that, you will be deceived. So if you ask someone who has been deceived, how did you feel at first? They say, I felt something suspicious at first. You see, intuition cannot be fooled. Intuition is the realm of the gods. Do you understand? So trust your intuition. If you think, oh, this guy is a jerk, then he is a jerk. If you are doing that kind of mentality, you will be deceived while saying things like, he's a good person at heart. So you should trust your intuition. Yes. So for people like me whose final education is in junior high school, that's the best thing you can do. It's okay now. So do you want to go to high school again? I have no intention of going back. And for those whose last education was high school, think that's the best. College graduates should think anything is great in college. High school graduates should think anything in the middle is good. Don't be biased. Anything is good already. Think you are the best. Men, think men are the best. Women think that women are the best. Homosexuals, homos are great. Homo is the best. Yeah. And the other day, there was a guy who said, I'm a homosexual. And he was worried. And he said, I like men. Is that okay? I said, yes, it's okay. I said, you love men. The worst thing you can do is not love another person. Whether a man loves a man or a woman loves a woman, there is love. And you can't stop it anyway, so it's okay. However, don't just go for me, That's really true. You can't change people. We think it's a good thing and go with it. Yes, please don't think that my mother-in-law is a little more considerate and less of a nag. Think, Grandma, you've been nagging me for so long now. Let's just go along for a little while longer. Let's just go along for the ride. Yes, nagging people have strong internal organs. That's why they don't die easily even if they collapse. They nag even from under the covers. The habit can't be cured anyway. That's why it's okay. You have to think that you are happy, Then many, many good things will happen. Basically, the way to be happy is to think that you are happy now. Then tomorrow and the day after that, a lot of good things will happen. Emiko wrote this book called Vessel. Vessel means capacity. So what is capacity? It is ultimately wisdom, a broad mind. And people often say a broad perspective. What do you mean by broad-minded? We think we have a previous life. No, I'm talking about me. It's okay if you don't think so. If you think what I'm about to tell you is not right, please tell me honestly. You can tell me that you have come to the wrong place and leave. There was a previous life and there is this life. And you think there is a next life. However, people who think only in this life have a very narrow perspective. If you think about how you lived in your previous life, how you will live in this life, and how you will live in the next life, you can see things very clearly. I didn't want to do the purification of the soul with white light. I don't want to do it. Because I don't want to do it. If I didn't do this mysterious thing, I would be the biggest businessman in Japan who pays taxes. If I did this kind of thing as a volunteer, people would say it's a suspicious and psychic business. So I don't want to do it. So I can't help it. Then why do I do it, even if I don't want to do it? When we die, we have only 3 choices. Go to heaven, go to hell, or become a floating ghost. I saw hell when I was little. I don't want to go there. You can think I'm talking nonsense. And that's my criteria. I can do the purification of the soul. And I can teach it. People ask me, how do you go from here to Osaka station? If you don't know, you can say, no, I'm sorry. I just came from Tokyo, so I don't know. This is not a crime because you don't know. But if you know how to get to Osaka station and you don't tell him, it is a crime. Do you understand? I don't want to go to hell. It's simple. I don't want to go to hell. So the way of life that doesn't lead to hell is actually the way of life that is successful even in this life. And the way of life that allows you to go to heaven is the way of life that is successful in this life. However, there are spiritualists and religious people who say all kinds of crazy things. They say, don't even think about it. Don't think about it. Don't buy expensive things. The ones who go to hell are those who don't do what they can do and those who bully the weak. Hane-chan always says that Hitori-san is a reincarnation of Kobo Daishi. I think like this. I think it's strange to say that's not right. And those who say, yes, it is so, are also wrong. No one knows what happened in the past life. If someone says, I am the reincarnation of Buddha, he is crazy. Before that, whether he is a reincarnation of Kobo Daishi or not, if he is mean to people or does something sloppy in this life, he is a sloppy person. No matter how we lived in our previous lives, we have come out of them with a clean slate. If you live honorably in this life, you are a respectable person. That's how the system works. In your previous life, you lived in a place like a castle and were a princess. If you live in a tenement now, you are a tenement dweller. It doesn't matter what happened before. That's why you have to live with all your heart and soul in the present. So there is a previous life, this life, and the next life. When you die, you have 3 choices: heaven, hell, or a floating ghost. I don't want to be a floating ghost. So I will teach you anything you want to know. If you do that, nothing bad will happen. Shige-chan, who is my disciple, asked me, do Do you have any advice for young people? I thought, how old is young? You know, when junior high school and high school students come to me for advice, I tell them, do what you like. Do what you like. And when they try to do what they like, it usually doesn't work out. Then, when people who have entered the workforce come to me for advice, I tell them, you know, you should also try things you don't like. Do things you don't want to do. You don't want to listen to other people's opinions, but listen to other people's opinions. If you do that, when you open the door that you didn't want to open, you'll find that before you open the door, you think this door is a thorny path because it's something you don't want to do. But if you try it, it turns out to be successful. Because you know, this world is not fun. You know what I mean? I can see the frustration on your face. There are so many things around you that you are dissatisfied with. But if you take a leap of faith and say a few words of heaven, things will really get better. You can be happy even if you don't like what you're doing. Then the road becomes fun again. A person with a strong ego invites floating spirits. That's why such people are even more selfish. The world is simple because, of course, heavenly words are better than hellish words. Smiling is always better. Bright is better than dark. Everybody knows that. So why don't you do what you know so well? Such a person is very selfish. He has a lot of bad allies on his back. There are people who have died because they said too many gloomy things. So are there spirits? Yes, there are. They come out because they exist. They come out all the time. We just have to live cheerfully. If we live cheerfully, there will be no floating spirits. It's fun. You know what? Birds are flying in the sky and flowers are blooming. You see, cherry blossoms bloom, plum blossoms bloom too. So why are you sitting still in front of the wall in this good world? And what is enlightenment? We practice being in a good mood on a daily basis. There are a lot of bad things. When we have a bad day, we just smile. The food today was delicious, but even if it was bad, I would still smile. I don't get in a bad mood just because the food is bad. My apprentice has been with me for more than 20 years, and he says he's never once put me in a bad mood because I'm in a good mood. You know, there's something wrong with people who can't even take their own moods. You should at least take care of your own mood. People want to see me because I'm always cheerful. If you are cheerful, you won't be possessed by a ghost. Let's do our best.